speak out like that. There are times, I'm sure, for you, as much as for everyone in this room, when you've known a moment when you had to step up and speak your truth in a way, and that takes a lot of courage to do that. Do you have any memories of a moment when you were kind of trembling with concern about how that would work? And
you know, lots of them, lots of them. I think of a couple of different ones. One, I'm a fierce advocate for mental health services and addiction services, and we're finally making some headway. But tremendous stigma and stereotypes around that. And I happen to believe that healthcare above the neck should be treated the same as healthcare below the neck.
That's good.
And that we should be provided. But a moment for me came. My father was what we now call bipolar, and I had never talked about it. And there came a moment where people were saying things that were just not accurate and had no connection with the reality of what families go through. And I was trying to decide, do I say something or not? And stepped forward and told my story. Actually asked my mom first if that was okay. My dad's no longer with us, but it was her story. But stepped forward and told my story in a room full of folks that did not understand. And all of a sudden, some other people started saying, well, my brother, or my sister, and the fact is, 1 out of 4 of us, 1 out of 4 people in a year will be affected by mental illness. And so, but it was very hard at that moment for me to, am I going to tell my story or not? The second thing I would say, which is very different, but when we were, after 9/11, confronted with a decision on whether or not to go into the Iraq War, I was wide open to doing it. Obviously, we want to keep ourselves safe. The country had been attacked. You have to call it like you see it. What is the best thing that we should be doing? I sat in meeting after meeting after meeting. The press was saying we ought to do this. The majority of folks were saying we ought to do this. I didn't see the evidence. I sat in Secretary Rumsfeld's office. He's showing us all this stuff. None of the dots connected. They really wanted to go to war, but I couldn't see it. And I had to face, okay, now what? My gut tells me this is the wrong decision. I don't see evidence. Politically, overwhelmingly popular to do this. And overwhelmingly everybody's saying that we ought to. And so one night went home, and I have a son and a daughter, and I thought about the evidence, and I read, and I thought, have I been presented a case about threat to our country that I would send my son or daughter to war? And the answer was no. And I thought, how can I vote to send someone else's son or daughter to war when I don't think there's enough evidence to send mine? And so I voted no.
I love that.